Welcome everybody and joyous greetings, Bismarck here from Pixel Judge. Today's guest is David, developer of the upcoming sci-fi game Starship Corporation. Welcome, David.
Hello.
First of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your project?
I am coming out of advertising and 3D animation, and I then worked for some time for an Austrian gaming company, and was not really happy with that. Started a laser tech company in Austria, and did that for some years, and I was still always wanted to do my own computer game, and that's what I'm doing now for the first time.
Now, what inspired you to develop Starship Corporation and how did you get started with the project?
I think there are a few, actually many things that inspired me, but I think the most important thing was a specific scene from the movie Aliens, where the Marines are getting out of that APC, and the lieutenant is watching their movements from their helmet cameras and giving them orders. And I always wanted to do a game where you could be that lieutenant and see actually first person what your crew is doing, and giving them tactical information that they need, and ordering them on a very tactical level. And I thought for a very long time about how I would do this, and started a prototype for this kind of game. Yeah, and the second thing that was very inspiring for me was the experience I had playing the game Operation Flashpoint. I don't know if you know that. That's kind
Yeah.
of old now, and it was one of the first games that was a huge world, a military simulation with a huge world, and most important, a great mission editor. And me and my friends, we had the most fun not playing the actual campaign of the game, but all of the time making sessions in the evening, everyone creating a mission for about an hour, and then playing each other's missions.
Yeah, I can
And
relate to that actually. Yeah.
and that was really exciting. And I thought about how I could make a game where creating the level, or modding, if you like, is part of the game, and is actually how you would want to be good in the game by creating levels. And of course, there's something like Minecraft, and so I wanted to combine this shipboarding colonial marines type game with creating a ship, because the main reason for me creating the game is because I want to play it myself. And if I would create all the levels myself, it would be pretty boring for me to play. So actually, it's to trick the to trick the players in making levels for me.
Right, so you're basically drawing from a lot of different games and movies there. That's quite nice to see. Now, in order to get this project off the ground, you received community funding by showing your game off on indiegogo.com. Now,
Yes.
we were wondering, why you chose this site and not the more commonly known Kickstarter.
That's for a very simple reason, because I'm located in Europe. Also, I used to be in Germany at the time, and you would need a US credit card, bank account, all that stuff, or some connections to some US citizen, which I don't have. So I had no choice but to use Indiegogo, but it turned out all right.
All right. Now, having been on indiegogo.com, how would you rate your crowdfunding experience? Given the choice, if you could make it again, would you do a crowdfunding?
Yes, I would. I would. every time I'm starting a new project from now on, I would do crowdfunding. Not only because of the financial help I get, but mainly because of marketing reasons. Because I can bring my ideas out there and see how many people are interested, and also um, to test to test if the idea is interesting enough, of course, and to gather ideas from other people. It's very inspiring how many people wrote to me and used the forum and contacted me with extremely good ideas. And because of that, the game is already much better than I could ever imagined it.
So you've actually had already quite substantial dialogue with the potential audience on the game
Oh,
then.
yes, yes.
That's great. That's not actually what we see in a lot of games nowadays. That the developer actually has been inspired by the audience to add things into the game.
That's very
Now,
sad
yeah,
because as the internet as a whole can show us, there are so many people, so many geniuses out there that if they are connected, they create an enormous bog brain of creativity that you can tap into, and people are very happy to share their ideas.
now in the finalized game, you said you will have both a single player and a multiplayer option. Can you tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about both and the background story basically of the game?
The multiplayer aspect is the most important. I want to focus on because that's of course where I'm able to get my levels to play, and I'm very excited about people um, creating different ships and putting them on this kind of open market in the game. And I'm very curious about the dynamics that will develop because people are competing. There are corporations that are competing with each other, and if there's a radical new design that is much better than the others, then that will determine the price and the market, and that's very interesting. And I want to enable players to experience a very dynamic market where they can strive to make the either the perfect design ship or on the other spectrum the most the most cost effective ship, and the ships that will turn out in either way successful will then pop up when encountering other players in possible conflicts and something like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, when it comes to the vessel building, it seems that it's quite a hardcore approach to space simulations. I mean, to make your vessel successful, you have to think a lot about how you're actually going to design it. Um, and will the program guide new players to prevent any drastic design mistakes, or is it more try and error based in which experience counts for basically everything?
Yeah, I hope I can make the game in this way that there that the trial and error aspect is part of the game experience insofar that when designing the ship, you immediately test it afterwards in this kind of crew management simulation, and you can test it as often as you like just like running a simulator, and you get a feedback from this simulator how good your ship is, and only after testing as long as you like and you are completely satisfied with it, then you decide to actually build it in the shipyard, which is very expensive, of course, and time consuming. And then you send it out on missions or whatever. So when you put your ship out there, you are absolutely certain that it's the best it can be. And of course, if is a better ship than this, then you can. I think I will put something in like like a black box recording or something like that, so that you can actually you have a feedback, a detailed feedback of what went wrong, so that you can improve your next design.
That sounds really
But
nice. Yeah.
I don't like the idea of, like it's in most games, most strategy games, that you produce endless amounts of thousands of or hundreds of ships, and they just get blown up, and then you build another 100. I want each
So
ship to be very special and very expensive.
very unique then as well.
Yes, and there will also be things like insurance and something you just like you would have when having a shipping company. So ships don't get blown up or lost that easy.
Now, the whole game basically takes place in, you kind of look inside of your ship, and there's not really an outside perspective even when the fighting is going on. And
Yes.
that's quite new, and it does, I wouldn't say you have to get used to it, but it's something drastically different than from the usual that we see in the industry. Now,
Yeah.
why did you take this design choice?
Yeah, it's exactly that, because of that, because most of the games focus on on the outside, and that's great to look at. But I always was wondering, especially in Homeworld, I think, what's going on inside those ships, especially when there were some things like boarding. You docked to another ship. It was, you think it was there was a boarding option in Homeworld 2,
Yes,
so you
Homeworld
could
2, that
send some
was a great
Marines,
game. Yeah.
and I died. I wanted to wonder what's going on inside those hallways and something like that. And of course, I agree that it would be great if you had an outside perspective too in Starship Corporation. And I'm kind of looking for a solution for that, but I have to focus on what's the game is best, and so I want to focus on this new kind of perspective.
Do you ever fear that, players might be put off your game because of this design choice? Because simply it's not what they're used to?
No, that's exactly the opposite. I think people and players are very mature, and they are always looking for new perspectives. I'm focusing on I think a very mature kind of player, that they have seen a lot of games, and there are still a lot of games that are great, that are focusing on the outside. And I'm confident there are, and I can see that a lot of people want to try something new.
Now, not every other game allows you to design, or actually no game until now allows you to design the spaceship in quite a way, Starship Corporation will. When you think about your design choice, do you see that it has potential in the gaming industry, that in the way that other games companies might take up the idea and expand on it in their own way?
Oh yes, I very much hope so. If there would be already a game out there that fulfilled this need of mine to construct a ship level by level and send people through it and all that, then I think I wouldn't make it, because I just would play it. So I hope that there are many companies that take on this idea and make something even better, maybe, than I could think of.
Now, when the player is designing his starship, and we saw in the alpha build that there are like lots of different modules that he needs for his ship to function at, even the basic sort of efficiency.
Yeah.
Now, for newer players, obviously that means trying over and over again. And you said, that the try and error is an integral part of your game.
Yeah.
Now, do you plan to make it easier for, more advanced players by basically unlocking improved modules that are more compact but operate at the same efficiency as the starting selection, or is the starting selection basically what everybody gets?
No, no, what I'm presenting now in the alpha is basically all of this, all of what I've created now. And I can certainly see that that seems to be overwhelming when you just start the game. But I don't want to hold back at the moment. When the game is ready, there will be, first of all, a good tutorial. I'm very keen on making a good tutorial, especially for a complex game, and 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 slowly, like other games do too, slowly unlocking new rooms so that you have a not too steep learning curve. And it's much more fun too because at first you have only this engine room, and then you get a more compact one and so forth.
Now, we previously talked, you said that you're aiming for a very mature audience, and the German-speaking market is known to be, the home of many companies that produce kind of niche titles that cater
Mhm.
to a small yet very passionate community. Now, do you see Starship Corporation breaking out of this bubble, or do you specifically, target this audience and want to remain in this audience?
I don't know. I initially thought it's a very niche product. I don't know if it is still is because I'm still it's a small budget and small game, but I hope that just like Minecraft, you if you make it very simple to start, then there will be lots of people beginning to play it, and then most of them keep playing it. So I'm not sure. I'm very curious how it will develop. I'm very happy if it's just a niche product because it's kind of it could be just like a geek kind of game for Starship geeks, but maybe it's more. I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah, that's good to hear because at first when we saw the product, for example, we saw that the crew in the trailers has predominantly German names, and it doesn't matter how the little buggers are called, but it made us wonder, whether your focus actually lies on the German market or not. But it's very good to hear, that you're basically also trying to get an international audience for your game. Now,
Yeah, the names of the crew and the images, I really like to make it as international, as global as possible because that's what I think. What the Just like Star Trek, like there are no. Also, it's a global thing, and humans from all over the world will spread over the galaxy, but their roots are still visible, and you can see it in their names. And I've already a lot of Russian crew members, even with Russian voiceover and something like this.
oh,
So
that's
I'm,
great.
I'm
That's really good.
that's
Yeah.
very funny to do. And I
Now,
also enjoyed in putting in all those German guys because I felt that Germans are very underrepresented as game characters.
oh yes, we are definitely.
And I think it's
Yeah.
very funny. I think this German accent and all, and
Oh yes,
that's very
please put that
funny
in
and
there.
very
It's very iconic, I think.
yeah.
Now, when the game launches, do you plan to make it, enable mods and mod support for this game so that the community can build new ship layouts, modules, missions, and so forth?
I'm trying as best as I can, as it's not easy, but of course the basic idea is this whole create your own levels and so forth, and I want to make it as moddable as possible. But it's also it's not only that the game will then grow after its release, long after its release, but it's also interesting for me to see what people are doing with it.
No, but when we tried out the alphabet build, we were really pleased, with the soundtrack, and we thought that it fitted the game quite well. Now, can you tell us a little bit of, your choice of music and why you took this kind of mystical tune?
That's actually a great musician contacted me and wanted to take part in the project, and that's what I was talking about contributions. And he offered to make music, and I'm very lucky that he is such a genius.
Oh, that's really nice from him, yeah. Now, when you launch your game, do you have any plans to release it on Steam or use the green light feature it has?
Yeah, I'm already on Greenlight, and of course, I hope that it's gonna work. But at the moment, it's more important that I get the exposure on Greenlight. It's still some time until release, and I think I'm using Steam, and I think it would be great if Starship Corporation would be on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Steam is basically the biggest digital distribution service. So if it would get on Steam, there would be that would be great for you, basically.
Yes.
Right then. Well, on behalf of Pixel Judge, I'd like to thank you for talking with us, and I wish you the best of luck for the development of Starship Corporation. I must say,
Thank you.
personally, it looks very promising. It has a lot of potential, and I can't wait to get my hands on the full release version.
Thanks.
Right, that's it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed our little talk on Starship Corporation and that it has answered some of the questions you might have. We will keep our eyes out for this title, and so should you. Bye bye, and auf Wiedersehen.